Hello and welcome to Week 6, Day 2 of the LPL. I am Stanley Greyhart Barker and I am joined once again by Alex Bliss Stinson.
Here we are, guys. Greyhart, how nice it is to finally get a week full of Rogue Warrior games. I'm so hyped about this team. Vici are officially off the curse of the losing streak, and we're talking about two teams looking to go forward.
Both of these teams coming off a good week last week. The deathless win versus EDG for the Rogue Warrior squad, and the 0-9 Vici Gaming became 1-9 as they took down LGD 2-0.
So basically a few words about the hype. Edward Gaming just lost to Rogue Warriors without getting a single kill, 0-2. So a lot of hype coming around Rogue Warriors, especially this week. And considering Vici Gaming are at the bottom of the standings, they're considered to have a pretty easy 2-0 this week. So let's see how the execution goes. Tam Kent, Karma and Kogmo for Vici. Well, it's Camille, Alstar and Azir for Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, those indeed are the bans, Bliss, and now we've got lock-ins coming thick and fast as Vici Gaming first pick the Caitlyn. This is immediately countered by Rogue Warriors taking a Jarvan and a Varus.
In general, we do consider Varus to be a better power pick than Caitlyn at this point, but with Tamkins being out of the question, Varus is not going to have such an easy laning phase. So Vici Gaming do have a lot of options to apply pressure on that bot side and make usage of the lack of mobility that Varus has. On top of that, Ryze is a really strong mobile champion that can roam on bot side, and that's something we have seen EasyHoon do countless times.
And he will be able to do that because that Ryze is locked in for Faker's old understudy EasyHoon, and we see the Sejuani has been taken in the jungle for VG.
That's the first three picks. I love Sejuani because it offers some great pressure onto mid lane, no matter what Doin B chooses, which is going to be Orianna, by the way. We are going to see a forced cleanse there, so less pressure onto that Ryze, easier scaling into mid and late game, so I love it. And of course, frontline NCC, which can never go wrong in a lineup with Cade and Ryze.
So as we complete the first stage of picks, both teams have picked their two main carries in the ADC and mid lane. Both teams have got themselves a strong jungler. The bans are coming in and surely they'll be directed towards the top and the support.
So right here, Rogue Warriors have a little bit of an advantage since they will be able to counterpick the top lane and have the priority there. Now, when it comes to supports, Caitlyn is really one of those supports that can go with any lane bully utility support, just apply pressure onto Varus, or she can play with something aggressive like Braum and try to go for the kill pressure and extra dive potential along with Ryze. When it comes to Rogue Warriors, they need to provide Varus with the safest of laning phase, just to make sure his mid and late game will be good enough.
Alrighty, bans are coming through now, and unsurprisingly they are being targeted towards the top lane, Bliss. We've got Gangplank, Sion and Vladimir all taken off of the table. What's this going to leave open? Well, I guess we'll find out after this next ban comes through.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a Gnar right here, but it's supposed to be a blind pick. There's the Braum. It makes sense since it's really strong.
Ornn is up as well, so there's another potential strong pick there in the lanes. We're going to see what SMLZ locks in for either his top laner or support. Right now, a lot of champions available. Shen is the hover, and it certainly would be good for protecting Flawless. And with Doinby already having that Orianna, a protect the ADC composition could be built. There's the lock-in.
That is so interesting because the safe laning phase we talked about is going to be offered by the top lane itself. They get Shen before it's stolen away, and on the same time they keep support as the last pick, so they counter the 2 versus 2 matchup and make sure it's going to be as good as possible.
Yeah, I really like that. We were talking about how we were going to see Rogue Warriors counterpicking that top lane. Well, why counterpick when you get something as strong as Shen and it can deny from the side of VG, who are indeed going to lock in the Ornn.
Taric makes so much sense right here. Let's take a second and appreciate this Braum ban because it counters both the Ornn ultimate, the Call of the Force God, and also the shoving potential of Caitlyn. So with one ban, they make sure two lanes go really, really well, and the last pick is going to be anything that can apply pressure onto Sen and keep him off the bot lane.
Okay, well, it is going to be the Trundle locked in. The Caveman picks the Troll, and I'm assuming that is going to go to support and on into the top lane. But
this is double flex.
Exactly as you say, Bliss, it's a double flex.
This is going to be a last-minute decision. They're going to see the top laner coming out from Rogue Warriors, and then they're going to decide, as both Trundle and Ornn can play on the support role. Trundle is one of those picks that are really good at catching Varus out of position when he doesn't have his flash.
But you know who else has got a double flex? Rogue Warriors, because Shen can play in support, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do, as Mouse is going to get Cho in the top lane.
So Jarvan can also flex. So isn't the flex worse? I'm not really sure. Rogue Warriors dubbed back right here with the Cho'Gath, since it's good versus both Trundle and Ornn, and you don't really get such a favorable matchup, but you don't get a dangerous one, which should be okay since they have a scaling composition with Varus and Orianna.
Alrighty, we have only a few seconds left until the teams start to think about jumping onto the Rift, and we can see the completed compositions. The teams are getting their fingers nice and warm in preparation. There's the coach's handshake between Hoon and Stake. Nice show of sportsmanship as we see the crowd getting ready for this exciting first game in the best of 3 series.
It's Vici versus Rogue Warriors. Basically, right here, Vici are having a one-time chance of getting a perfect week versus one of the strongest teams of LPL. I'm not really sure if they have the chance to actually do it, but if they do it, it definitely shows some comeback potential.
Alrighty, there are the teams doing all sorts of different methods to try and relax themselves. Some looking calm, some people looking shaky, some people looking like they just want to get onto the Rift.
easyHoon looking chill. Like, he's got this. No worries, guys. We got our first win. The curse is over. It's time for 7 wins in a row.
7 wins, the dream. We've only got 4 weeks left of the regular split here in the LPL, so only a limited number of games for these two teams to try and push themselves higher in the standings. Rogue Warriors are 7-2 in comparison to the 9-1 of Invictus Gaming in Group B, and they're going to look to try and push themselves further up.
It's kind of scary how the best case scenario for Vici is going 50% win rate in the main season. And of course, that is if they win today.
Okay, we are on to the Rift. The cheers reverberate through the LPL studio. I'm sure there will be some echoes of that even through those noise-cancelling headsets of the players. If they're getting anywhere as near as excited for this as I am, then they're very excited. Someone who isn't quite as excited is easyHoon, who immediately has to run away from the invade of Rogue Warriors.
And I'm just getting flashbacks right here from that moment back in the day where competitive players first realized Sen can actually bend his taunt with a flash, and they started invading the level 1. So Killua just applying some pressure right there, threatening with that level 1 invade, since he has that ignite. It's not gonna happen, but when it comes to the bot lane, I love the unsealed spellbook from both ADCs. Let's not forget it's still 8.2, and a sealed spellbook is still very, very good.
It certainly is, and that's why we're going to see easyHoon running it on Rise as well. Cho, and we're going to see J4 here taking away the red buff early on, getting that nice burn and lifesteal for Flawless. Meanwhile, the red buff being started up by the bot lane duo, helping out their Sejuani. Sejuani starts with a slightly faster clear. Cho walks into the damage coming from Ornn, takes a little bite of his health, but not going to be too scared by this trade.
I was waiting so long for Vici to play Rogue Warriors just to make pans with Meow and Mouse, but I'm gonna reserve that for the first kill. Right here, I want to discuss more about Caveman. Caveman has opted to go with the Grasp of the Undying, which is the most rare choice for supports. And that works for the sole reason he has Sen against him. He's gonna have 3 stackings on him, and it's the only time this works.
This has been one of the most enjoyable drafts to watch. Just the number of potential flexes that came out through the two teams, and the compositions that we've ended up seeing drafted are really quite original.
Oh, and Caveman is not gonna go for the magical footwear. Actually, he is not gonna go for the free boots. Possibly he's gonna go for the fast boots just to make sure he takes advantage of SMLZ's bad mobility. That makes sense. Let's see how it works. As Flawless invades, Swift is right there, seeing exactly what's going on.
It does feel like Orianna has got priority to get to these two junglers if necessary. Flawless is just going to chase Swift out of his own jungle, take away as many of those Raptors as he can. The trade goes better for Flawless than for Swift.
He stole one small Raptor. Like, that's not really the best possible outcome.
Was it only the one he got? Okay.
Yeah. Both junglers spot each other. Right there, Flawless is trying to zone Swift away from his Krugs. Now they're gonna meet again. Let's see which bot lane's gonna come first. Swift. Oh!
The knock-up lands from Swift just before the flag and drag is channeled. The flag was there, the drag was not, and Flawless able to use that Q off the Damascene standard to quickly get himself to safety.
So he steals a Raptor camp, he takes the blast gun away, so bot lane is not gonna be pressured by Sejuani in the very, very early game. But Rogue Warriors are not really afraid of that when it comes to Sejuani. Swift is on a champion that threatens mid mostly. And we do see Doing B not opting for the cleanse, which is huge disrespect.
Alrighty, so we have got the Summon Airy on Doing B. He's putting a decent bit of extra damage down and getting that. A bit of a pain really is Airy, and Doing B trying to harass EasyHoon as much as possible early on, falling very slightly behind on CS though.
I have to say, Doing B is gonna do really well against EasyHoon if Swift doesn't show up. On top lane, Meow and Mouse are just trading through. Of course, Mouse has the better sustain, and now Swift is there. They have baited him very, very well. The cleanse, the flash will go in.
Here we go, flash.
He doesn't have nowhere to go.
Yeah, flash knockup lands, and it's going to be first blood for Meow. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Kahlua going lower and lower. Has to flash away, and the flash in from Caveman secures a second kill for VG, and it's not going to be a deathless week for Rogue Warriors.
Rogue Warriors, like, what are they thinking? Right here, Mouse has warded the Reaver. He knows exactly the threat of Swift showing up on top lane. They might have used Swift's flash to get his first blood, but in the end they get it. And right now, Rogue Warriors are leading by 1,000 gold in 5 minutes.
It's a fantastic start for the side of Vici Gaming, who broke the curse last week and are looking to continue on that winning form they've suddenly found themselves with. Swift pops a control ward down in the top lane, clears out some vision, decides not to go for the repeat gank onto Mouse though.
Mouse has been frozen in a very peculiar position. Meanwhile, at bot lane, there was the engage from Kahlua, but SMLZ is getting zoned away from Caitlyn, which is his primary target now. They turn 2 versus 1 onto Kahlua, and there's nowhere for him to go. He flashes away, but flash chomp. There you go. And the kill goes there from Caveman.
And that 1,000 gold lead still stands as we approach the 6-minute mark. We do see the tracker's knives on both of the junglers, making the most of one of their final opportunities to use that item.
It's one of those rare games where Vici Gaming are leading by 1,000 gold. You're thinking, what a terrific start, but you take a look at the vision on the bot side of the jungle for Rogue Warriors, and you say, they know exactly what's going on the bot side. They can go for the Mountain Drakes, they can play aggressive versus Caitlyn if she shoves, and despite that one kill happening, right now, Martin is sitting without summoners, and Caveman too.
Yeah, and he is very slightly down on CS at the moment. Obviously, he didn't pick up the kill. It was his support who got that. Up in the top lane, though, Ornn having a happier time than Cho. 49 CS to 41 at the moment.
I'm expecting that level 6 of SMLZ to be used in its utmost efficiency. Right here, they can go aggressive on either Martin or Caveman. It's pretty much a sure kill if Flawless shows up, and of course they can be rewarded with a dragon or a tower after that. So Vici know that they're applying vision on the lower side of the jungle just to make sure they do not get surprised by Flawless' presence, as he has the electrocute and the cataclysm too.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption into Cataclysm is something I'm sure that VG Gaming are going to be trying to respect. Whether they're successful or not, we'll find out, because Flawless, he decides to recall just after hitting 6. We're not going to see that play just yet.
Turns out they know, they pinged exactly on him, so I guess he passed through that ward. But meanwhile on bot lane, even though it's a free kill with the presence of Flawless, let's not forget they're stronger right now, since they do have that flash heal advantage.
Yeah, they do.
Flash advantage,
and Martin's not going to have a flash for a fair while, because he swapped that flash out for a teleport.
Yeah, so I know for a fact that's definitely not too much of a disrespect since
Oh, of course
he
not,
would
no.
have it on cooldown anyhow. But right now, since they have worded properly and they do not allow flows to show up on bot lane, they should be able to actually apply even more pressure. Oh, Swift.
Swift takes the first journey into Flawless's jungle and does find his opposition. Swift is starting this blue buff up, but Jarvan is going to be present. Which team will be able to rotate quicker? Will there be a blue buff steal? Easyhoon looking to come across. Flawless is trying to contest this, but Doinby slightly caught out by Easyhoon. Where is the damage? There's the smite. It's going to be secured by Swift, I believe. A nice steal of the jungle by the Vici Gaming jungler.
So Swift actually counter jungling a Jarvan. Flawless definitely did not expect that. If something is favoring Sejuani in this matchup, is definitely the luxury of smiting 100% sure that burst cannot be paired with anything in the game. Maybe resonating strike of Lee Sin, but apart from that, there's no better execution than this. And the blue buff goes to Vici.
Yeah, that's happy times for Swift. I do feel like the fact that Easyhoon and Martin and Caveman were so far pushed up meant that... Hold on a second, ultimate lands on to the Orianna. Here's Flawless looking for the counter gank. The shockwave does land on Swift. The Cataclysm's used as well. We see a teleport, but Chogap's already arrived, and that is going to be Swift going lower and lower and going to a grey screen. Killua with one kill. Doinby flashes away. Meow flashes himself to safety, but Easyhoon is still present, knocked up by the flag and drag. Does have the flash, uses it now. There comes the channel of the Call of the Forge God. The stopwatch used by Jarvan to get himself to safety. Here comes Caveman. Everybody's in the mid lane. So far, just the one kill. Killua trying to run for his life. He gets away, and after all is said and done, only Swift dies.
That was really good for Rogue Warriors. They take a kill, they go back without giving anything. And on the same note, I'm just seeing some really good synergy between Meow and Caveman, since the pillar of the one can actually trigger the knockup of the other. It's very strong combo. They didn't get to use it, but here comes the cleanse disrespect. It baits Swift into a hard engage. They miss the shockwave, but after that, all the global controls come just to punish Swift. And it does so with such a good execution. Doinby won't go down, and the free kill on Swift actually transfers a blue buff too.
So many summoner spells were burned in that confrontation. We'll have to have a little look at just what is still on the table. We've not got a flash on Meow. We've also not got the flash on Easyhoon anymore. Pretty sure Martin burned... Oh no, he's just got his flash back up using the Unsealed Spellbook. On the other side of the map, we do see Doinby now about a flash. We see Killua managing to get the taunt. Here's the damage coming through from Doinby as he uses his command dissonance to get damage down onto Swift. But there's the dash away as Bristle carries Sejuani to safety.
I love all the summoners being burned right here for the team of Vici, because Easyhoon right here has both his teleport and his warp gate. That means that he can apply pressure to both bot or top lane if he chooses to. Right here, there's absolutely no answer for the team of Rogue Warriors if they choose to play on bot side, since there's no teleport and absolutely no pressure from Doinby.
You talk about the kill pressure that comes out of the Chain's Corruption. We might be about to see it. Here it is, locked on to the Trundle. Caveman going low and low, already flashing away. There's the Cataclysm. Caveman locked up with nowhere to go. Killua, however, gets stunned up on the turret. And that's going to be an immediate return kill as we see a sombrero from Doinby with the Orianna Shockwave. Easyhoon joins the fight, but he's stuck amongst three members of the Rogue Warriors side. The teleport cancelled from Chogap, possibly by Ornn in the top lane, who actually goes down for cancelling that teleport. Mouse picks up a solo kill. What a misplay coming out of Meow.
The ultimate sacrifice just to cancel that teleport. He goes for it, he does it, but he ends up dying. And right here, Mouse is gonna make him lose tons of farm and experience under that tower, while on the same note, they lose a very good chance to contest that Mountain Drake.
And that all ends up in a 2-for-1 in kills to Rogue Warrior, who equalise the kill score, bring themselves back to only 500 gold behind, and get some decent turret damage in the top lane as well.
I'm not really sure about the sacrifice, because on the first note it seems like it favors Mouse so much, but there's gonna be TP advantage for Meow. When that happens, I am expecting a lot of action towards that bot side, because there's Dragon up, Tower First Blood is still on the table, and the team of Rogue Warriors have absolutely no disengage. Oh, meow. Oh, meow, meow. Too bad.
Yeah, he doesn't even cancel a teleport. He just steps in, takes so much damage that Mouse goes, all right, I'll have a free kill, and that was donezo, as they say. Meanwhile, SMLZ is caught out here. Killua is going to be quite late to join the party. There's no taunt to save him from the ace in the hole, but the damage does not come through. Now in the mid lane, we see a fight breaking out as Doinby gets knocked up by the Call of the Forge God. Here's Easy, who's looking to get the runic prison. Not going to find it though, as Doinby with the command protect gets to safety.
And we could really just debate if they could win that 2 versus 2 or not, but Swift is there. He gets thrown back with a blast gun. SMLZ is being kept alive by the Stand United, but Caveman now has to go back with a subjugate. Oh my god, the flash in.
Caveman there was getting a little on the low side, but overall the side of VG doing pretty well under the turret of Rogue Warriors. And if Rogue Warriors aren't able to pick up kills there, where are they going to be able to pick them up?
Swift's persisting. He still has that prison available. He can go for the glacial prison, just get anyone right there. SMLZ only has his flash, no heal to support them, and there is no Stun United, but he still is not gonna go for it. The constant pressure of Martin and Caveman persists in the bot lane, but we do not see a tower first blood as a result of it, and it's their own tower that slowly decimates.
Bliss, we've got so much CC coming out of the prisons on the side of Vici game. We've got the runic prison, we've got the glacial prison. That's a lot of jail time for Rogue Warriors if those summoner spells hit.
You're almost thinking like a cleanse would be miraculous in this game. But it's mainly one of the reasons we do see the Unsealed Spellbook onto SMLZ. It's later on going to transition into a cleanse, which is of course going to give him tremendous late game power spikes. Flawless. Realizing he's being spotted, he just runs away, and now Vici have to make sure they're not losing that dragon.
I don't think there's any danger of Flawless starting that one up, especially as he just took an ace in the hole to the face. However, having gone for that Cinder Hulk build, he is pretty tanky.
There's always danger of losing that dragon when you're playing against Cho'Gath.
Yes.
Like, they can straight up go 5 versus 5 and take it.
Flawless is pretty much got himself a tent here in the bot lane at the moment, and he's just camping this bot lane, trying to make sure that Killua and SMLZ get as far ahead as possible. We are looking at a 20 CS lead for the ADC of Rogue Warriors.
That's pretty much the win condition of the mid game for the team of Rogue Warriors. We need to see Flawless playing around mid and bot, because mid is a constant target without a cleanse versus a Sejuani, and bot lane is also really fragile too against the diving potential of a Trundle. So right here, the only thing we need to see is Jarvan staying around the dragon and Sejuani too.
Alrighty, yet again, 3 members of each team in the bot lane. Jarvan does recall, however, so we are back to just the 2 members down here on their own for Rogue Warriors, and with Sejuani lurking, they've got to be careful.
It is a constant stalemate that forces both junglers to stay off top lane, since the first one that souls up loses dragon. But right here, this constant stalemate gives you a lot of back and forth that slowly takes down towers on bot lane, which is in the end favoring Rogue Warriors. So that tower first blood goes to them. They're looking to have a gold lead after being 1000 gold behind on the first minutes of the game.
That stalemate in the bottom lane is also meaning so much around the rest of the map, Bliss. We've got a Herald that no one's even thought about, no turret first blood across the map. There aren't even any turrets that are down to less than half health at the moment. Possibly this one in bot lane.
I am expecting to see a huge fight coming up. Like, SMLZ has that flash teleport available. Martin has the heal advantage for the upcoming fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if SMLZ just went back to swap it for heal. But his constant pressure on bot lane by not recalling is what threatens the tower itself. If they go back, he can get that tower.
Alrighty, Flawless yet again stepping into Swift's jungle, clearing out a little bit of vision along with Doinby and Killua. They're going to be able to pick up all the vision out of the Dragon Pit as well, and this could mean a startup for the side of Rogue Warriors.
They're setting up the bot lane dive. Like, right here, Swift has to stay on top of that vision to make sure he denies that dive, and if he stays there, of course, Rogue Warriors will know exactly where Swift is on the map. Izihun is not threatened at all. He has his stopwatch, he has everything available. And he's simply even putting through damage.
One of the final games we'll ever cast in the League of Stopwatch, Bliss. We've already seen one of them burned by the Jarvan. Still got plenty out there across the items, though.
So, Rage Blade's up. 2000 CS right here. They're backing up from the tower. They know they can no longer keep it safe. So, the stalemate has paid off for Rogue Warriors. Great decision making. And now, if they get the vision control of the lower quadrant, they can go for the dragon. So maybe they will choose to do that anyway.
I think there's a very high possibility. The first kill in the last, well, it must be about 6 or 7 minutes since the last kill. The first kill in 6 or 7 minutes is of a turret, and that's going to be first turret blood going over to Rogue Warriors, who now have themselves a gold lead, having been behind in the early game. They follow this up with a kill onto the dragon, and that is a nice couple of minutes for the Rogue Warrior team.
It's a great macro game right here, Greyhart, because they opt into a stalemate that they force, and that leads into our First Blood, which leads into Mountain Drake, which leads into the swap towards top lane, and now they can actually do the same with the Rift Herald. If they insist on stalemating with their junglers between mid and the bot lane, the objectives that are in between are slowly but surely gonna go down for them.
And Rogue Warriors seem so happy with the way that they can play their macro game out. The way they played that slow and sophisticated game against the side of EDG last week. We've got 3 players here still on the Rogue Warriors squad. Flawless, Doinb and SMLZ, who still haven't died in 3 games of competitive play here in the LPL.
It's gonna be a long game. It seems like both teams have been opting towards the safest route with absolutely no risk, which of course always favors macro-based teams. The better macro teams always get favored by such game styles. So the things we gotta talk about right here. Doinb has been playing without cleanse against the Sejuani, and he has been unpunished for 20 minutes. This means free scaling into his Mortal Nomicon. He didn't go for the Seraph's Embrace, which is pretty normal since it's 8.2, but Orianna is still pretty strong in 8.2. So we should expect a lot of huge late game from them.
Meow and Mouse having a little bit of cat and mouse chasing. Mouse blasts himself back over, and it's just going to be both the top laners swapping over to the bot lane as the full Australia lanes come into effect. You talked about how this is likely to be a long game, Bliss, and I'm pretty much going to definitely agree with you on that one. But you know what? I welcome it, because the longer the game is, the more time that I get to spend with you.
That's so romantic of you.
Absolutely.
No Kappa pride, but at this point, I'm pretty sure that Baron is still very weak in contrast to the current paths. Like 8.4 Baron being compared to 8.2 is poggers. Like this champion, Varus, has the ability to burst through Baron like it's nothing. Especially if we do see a Blade of the Ruined King, it's going to be very easy for the team of Rogue Warriors to basically persist around Baron, empty out the Sightstone or the Eye from Caveman, and when the vision is completely lost, they can go for it.
Flawless has remembered that blue buff that Swift stole away from him earlier and is here to return the favour. However, the side of VG are contesting. This is going to be a big fight breaking out. The Realm Warp is going to deliver Easy Hoon into the fight. I'm pretty sure the Shockwave just missed everybody. Here comes the Chains of Corruption. The Cataclysm locks down Swift as well. He goes lower and lower. Orianna the first to drop. The knockup does land onto SMLZ, who has to flash himself away from Meow. There's the flash out of Mouse, respecting the damage that the Ornn can put down. Killua is currently stuck in the Baron Pit, but he will use his taunt to get to safety. That was a very, very nicely played fight by the side of Vici Gaming.
That couldn't be played better by Vici. The Glacial Prison actually got 4 people. 4 members of Rogue Warriors were caught in that. In the entire duration, they got slowed, they get hit by twice the ticks, and on top of that, Shockwave was lost by Doinb. Everything went so well by Vici Gaming, and in the end, despite that happening, they only turned up with 1 kill. So we can basically understand the shift of power that Rogue Warriors have.
Doinb eats his first death in a long, long time in the LPL, and with that death, it also gives over a nice little comeback play for Vici Gaming. They still find themselves 1,000 gold behind, but are going to be feeling good after that team fight.
Well, the best possible outcome is 1 kill with everything going excellent in the team fight. Imagine what happens in a fair fight, right? Here, Rogue Warriors are obviously much stronger, and Vici Gaming know that. So it's very easy to understand how much afraid they are of losing Baron. That's why Swift is sitting on top of that. They're not leaving it off their sides. And especially now that there's no teleport for either top laners, they know that the 4 versus 4 is going to be much more explosive without front lanes to soak through the damage.
Flawless is going to dash into easyhoon here. He wants the fight. He's got Doinby with him. We're going to see the stopwatch and the realm warp by Rise. It is, however, going to open up a potential starting of the Baron for Rogue Warriors.
No stopwatch, no warp gate, and no flash for easyhoon. So they just wait. They just
like
wait.
A bait. There's the flash, there's the cataclysm. easyhoon is caught out. He's taking a decent bit of damage. His shield is keeping him alive as Jarvan goes lower and lower. Unfortunately, a miss of the ultimate from Swift does mean that there's no potential for re-engage coming out of Vici Gaming. And Rogue Warriors actually the ones there who burn a flash and only get the ghost out of easyhoon for it.
Without easyhoon having flash or warp gate, I was expecting a short kill on top of him, but apparently the threat of Swift answering back with a glacial prison annoys Rogue Warriors. They do not want to risk it. They are taking back a lot off of that decision, but right now easyhoon is going to have his flashback. They're slightly losing vision control of the Baron pit, and while the teleports come back, Rogue Warriors are losing a good opportunity to take even more advantages.
They absolutely are. And as we approach the 25-minute mark, the second dragon of the game spawns. Not a huge amount of priority played towards these dragons so far, with just the one mountain dragon picked up by Rogue Warriors. But there's now an ocean on the table. We'll see if either of the teams decide to prioritise that. Probably not until the Baron's gone, though.
I think this is going to be one of the rare games we do see SMLZ opt for the Phantom Dancer. That zeal doesn't make sense in any other way. Like, I wouldn't expect a static save on a rapid fire cannon. So there it is, rapid fire cannon. That is so new. That's something we never see. Like Wit's End, Blade of the Ruin King, they all apply so much damage and are being used so well with the Varus kit. And yet he opts for the rapid fire cannon, which maybe is gonna go through a crit build. Like Infinity Edge is a sure build from now on.
So Bliss, do you think a part of this comes down to SMLZ, who already has that cleanse, just wanting that extra little bit of range, feeling slightly scared of stepping too close to some of these carries?
I think it's pretty much a decision based on the 3 tanks he has opposing him. Vici Gaming have Ornn, Trundle, and Ornn. That means that with Sejuani. So basically that means that they can opt through the adaptive helms, which we do see Meow already building, and if that happens, they basically reduce both... Oh,
Swift is caught out. Cataclysm already used. He's managed to get that ultimate perfectly onto Doinby. There's the Orianna shockwave landing. Oh my word! Big damage coming through from Caitlyn. Picks up a kill onto Jarvan. This fight is still going on multiple fronts though. Meow is absolutely destroying SMLZ, but it's Kahlua who drops to easyhoon. Meanwhile, Meow still hasn't stopped this fight as we see Caveman delivered via a realm warp. Closer and closer to SMLZ, who has to run for his life. Meow is the next one left scampering. Can't talk. Left running away, and overall I believe that was 2 kills with no return for Vici Gaming.
2 kills for Vici. There's no objective follow-up, which is fine. They're still much weaker, but since I took about 2.5 years to explain why he's opting for the critical build, long story short, he knows there's gonna come a lot of adaptive helps against him, and they all reduce Wit's End, Blade of the Ruin King, his W, and a lot of the damage he can put through.
This is a massive fight.
Critical is better. Swift just soaking some of the damage, and now there comes the commitment. Swift is turning around onto Doinby, who has no cleanse, of course. Double shockwaves. Mouse is coming for the follow-up. They get easyhoon, but he's not going down. And the triple massive knockup from Meow comes out. Knockup again onto the pillar of Caveman, and he zones 3 people alone while barely losing half of his HP. That's a game winner for Meow right there.
Brilliant plays coming out of the Vici Gaming top laner. I want to take a moment to talk about Flawless because he is the latest member of Rogue Warriors to take his first F in quite some time. Last week it was impossible not to make jokes based around his name and his performance, but this week he just feels like he's lost some of the patience that he had in the last game, taking the wrong cataclysms, the wrong targets, and it's hurting his team.
I'm not really sure what went through their minds, but right now, the result of that is basically 2 kills. The only thing they lost was summoner spells and 0 objective control. So I wouldn't say it's too bad for Rogue Warriors. They're still leading in gold. They have great late game. Like, believe me, Varus is so much better than Caitlyn in the mid and late, with the exception of super late, where that Reigns definitely shines. And on top of that, like I think Jarvan is going to do so well with the Cataclysm later on, just because of the zoning potential, not because of the damage.
And he's built so tanky as well. We've got that Cinder Hulk into Warmog, so he's going to be able to survive longer and longer, despite the fact he did go down in that last fight.
So I am expecting that Infinity Edge to show up, and until that, Rogue Warriors shouldn't be playing any aggressive. They should be embracing the free scaling. They're really loving it because there's nothing Vici Gaming can do. Their hard engage with Sejuani and Ornn is easily negated by Cataclysm onto the hyper carries, so there's no follow-up. And that should be it in the teamfights for Rogue Warriors.
Alrighty, yet again, the game returns to being purely about vision around Baron. Right now, if we were able to see the Fog of War, we would see that the vision is mostly being won out by the side of the Rogue Warriors, who seem to have got that priority push at the moment.
Slow, methodical game. Rogue Warriors are slowly peeling through those objectives one by one. The Infinity Edge is coming through. Mercury Treads is making SMLZ an even harder target, like with Flask Cleanse, having so low cooldowns with the Unsealed Spellbook and Tenacity on top of him. I wouldn't count on him ever dying. Even if I won the game, it would still be with SMLZ being up.
Kahlua does get slightly caught out by the pillar, but he's got his taunt to get himself to safety. SMLZ farming up a storm is now almost 40 CS up on Martin. We do also see a big CS lead for the top laner, Mouse. He's having a better time than the cat Meow is. But the only thing really to be said is that it's only providing a 1,500 gold lead, and at 30 minutes, that's not that much.
That's nothing. Yeah, that's definitely obsolete. There's nothing to talk about there. The gold lead of this amount can be easily paired up with a small mechanical mistake or someone getting caught out of position or some bad vision in a certain minute of the game. So right here, we're talking about the teams that are dead even. When it comes to scaling, Orianna and Ryze are both going to be monsters in the late game. Varus is going to be a little bit better than Caitlyn, but Caitlyn offers with free turtling power and a lot of zoning power around Baron. So both teams are looking really good into the late game. There is a 50-50 chance for both of those, and I think the only thing that can make a huge change in this current game is basically split push and global control with the teleports and Sen's ability to follow up.
I'm just watching wave after wave of vision Bliss getting cleared around the Baron. It feels like 1 second the side of Vici Gaming have the vision, then the seesaw flips down again and Rogue Warriors have the vision. How long are we going to get to see this Baron game played out for?
I'm guessing like we're gonna see a game being decided by the Elder Drake more than the Barons, because Baron is also a stalemate. Rogue Warriors keep going for the constant threat of a team fight, but not for the actual team fight, just so that they can apply constant pressure without having those cooldowns being taken advantage of the Vici Gaming. So I'm guessing we're gonna see a Dragon game. It's very easy for Flawless to go for those. And Swift cannot really go for the Dragon steals since they're losing their front line if he goes in for a steal.
Ooh, Swift forces the flash out of Doinby using that Glacial Prison. Not able to land it this time on a key target, but getting that flash out of Doinby is a pretty big win, especially with the lack of Unsealed Spellbook to reduce the cooldown.
There's a huge power spike right here for Rogue Warriors because they're going to get to that Infinity Edge. Mouse is going to get an extra stack on his Feast on that Dragon, and
Nope.
The Hex Ring here of Martin is not really favoring him in terms of dealing damage into that fight. So right here, Rogue Warriors are much stronger. They can go for a fight. The Iron Solari will also be available very soon, while there's no such thing for Vici Gaming, and that is of course going to make them so much stronger in the team fight.
Ooh, who's going to blink first, Bliss? Both of the teams must have an itchy trigger finger right now, hoping for the next fight. But the patience being played out, the vision control, the slow, methodical pace of this game, it's got to change at some point, and when it does, it's going to explode into an absolute inferno.
SMLZ having that flash, that cleanse, the tenacity, the stand united, the Knight's Vow, he is immortal, that's for sure. But the thing is, what are they gonna do to take down EasyHoon? Because right here he has flash and ghost, which makes him of course a very mobile and very versatile damage dealer into those team fights, which doesn't really allow for great chance for Rogue Warriors to catch him. It's only the Cataclysm when he doesn't have the flash, and even when that happens, the Zonia is now available, which of course allows him to warp gate Zonia away.
Here we go, flawless. Oh, here we go. Change corruption lands on Swift. Swift is deleted from the map. SMLZ putting that Infinity Edge to good use. Picks up the kill on the jungler of Vici Gaming. And that is going to be the go signal for Rogue Warriors.
There's no smite, the fist is up. The only chance for the team of Vici Gaming to contest the Baron is to go for a fight.
Massive
Cataclysm goes in.
Here we go, flawless goes in. There's the call of the Forge God. We do see On trying to get the damage down. Oh, it's going to be EasyHoon running for his life though. He's so low. All members of Rogue Warrior still alive, but the Baron has been stopped for now. It's going to get restarted up, but it's completely reset. Will we see another re-engage from the side of Vici Gaming? Yes, they're looking to try and get in. The Baron's going down to 3,000 health. There's no opposing jungler for the smite. There's the kill on the Baron. It's going to be 5 members of Rogue Warriors with the Baron.
They're gonna get compensated with a tower on the mid lane, but that's nothing. The Baron buff right here is gonna be so punishing for the team of Vici Gaming. Rogue Warriors can actually zone so well around that Baron wave on either lane. With tier 1 existing still on mid lane, they can get even 3 or 4 towers with a simple Baron push.
Alright, Baron push is going to start. Vici Gaming do finally get their first turret of the game, but they're about to lose their mid inner in return. All of that comes from Swift just being very slightly caught out with a lack of vision.
It would happen. It was a matter of time. Blade of the Ruin King is going to be the final choice for SMLZ. He doesn't really feel like he needs a Guardian Angel or the extra protection. Right here, Rogue Warriors have been doing wonders into keeping him alive and letting him deal free damage. So that extra damage from the Blade of the Ruin King and the ability to peel his own self against Trundle and Sejuani is going to be very noteworthy. So 2 towers on mid lane right off the bat, and the instant rotation towards the bot lane.
Yeah, Cho'Gath already pushing this turret down with the Baron empowered minions. Pretty sure Mouse and his crew are going to be able to take this one down. No trouble whatsoever. 3 turrets gained, and the Baron is being put to great effect by Rogue Warriors.
So already 3 towers, and not even half the duration of the Baron buff is up. So we're going to see the last rotation towards the top side, which of course makes sense. They're going to take every tier 2 tower on the table and increase their gold lead before they even try to penetrate the base with a Baron buff, which of course is much trickier than we think. The Baron buff on its own is not enough. It does not suffice to give them a free entry into their base, since the traps of Caitlyn make turtling so easy for the team of Vici.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot easier for someone like a Caitlyn to block off any route to these, to these turrets. However, we are looking at 2 ADCs right now who are both only half an item away from full build. Infinity Edge on both of the champions. We've got that rapid fire cannon for both of them as well. But that's where we see the difference. The Hex Drinker
Super Banner Baron Cannon.
There it is. The Bannon minion will do its work, and down goes 1 turret in the top lane, and that Bannon minion will keep going onto the inhibitor turret too.
You have trouble saying Super Baron Banner Cannon?
Surprisingly, yes I do. But not as much trouble as Vici Gaming have with dealing with it.
It's pre-Baron buff, so this shouldn't be that bad. Like, we do see the damage onto that tower with the Banner cannon, but it's not that significant. Right here, Killua is tanking the headshots with his knockup. But now, there it is! Everything on to Caveman!
Caveman goes down, Call of the Forge God will land multiple knockups, and this will mean Jarvan goes down to the Caitlyn. Now the fight breaking out, and Vici Gaming fighting for their lives. They need to win a big fight here. Martin with the ace in the hole, not going to be picking up a kill. Easy Who going lower and lower, has to use his Zhonya's. Swift going low too, and at the moment, it is the Rage Blade that is doing all of the work. There's another kill for Varus, or did manage to kill Shen, but Orianna took down Sejuani, and now it's only the ADCs fighting each other with the mid laners. Carry versus carry versus carry versus carry. Inhibitor falls. Rogue Warriors take the win in that fight.
And SMLZ guns through everyone in that fight. They do get his flash off, but with a cleanse still available and that tenacity, Mia could not even touch this guy. Martin did not actually have the reins to go into abusing the 1 versus 1, which is their only situation that they can get on top of SMLZ, because he has no ninja top by, he has no defensive items, and the 1 versus 1 would in the end favor Cave. But look at this, Caveman gets caught. The subjugate makes absolutely nothing different. SMLZ gets caught by the knockup. He deals 3 damage onto Swift. Izihun cannot get through him. Swift is getting so low, and this taunt from Killua is the game-breaking one, because Vici completely lose control of the fight. 3 versus 4, they lose the fight. Killua goes down, but Doin B picks up Swift, and after that, Martin and Izihun can by no means touch SMLZ.
While that replay was going down, the Elder Dragon spawned. Now, there's not been a huge amount of dragons on the table, so perhaps the buff would not be at its biggest. But if we do see Elder Dragon going down for Rogue Warriors, that could be just what they need to finish breaking the base of Vici Gaming.
We do see Martin actually out-damaging SMLZ in that previous fight, which, of course, is... it's okay, yeah. Like, it happens when everyone focuses on SMLZ, but... it's more importantly the capability of SMLZ to receive as much focus and stay alive while also keeping his cleanse that in the end gives Rogue Warriors the edge.
The infinity edge, you might say, because at the moment that is how long it feels like their winning run is going to continue for, and it is very much on the side of Vici Gaming to stop that from happening. They've lost themselves an inhibitor. They did gain a turret in the bottom lane due to minions pushing up, but an outer turret is no compensation for an inhib.
Molten Edge being completed by Martin.
Ooh.
So right here he's gonna have 100 damage on a single item slot. This makes him an even scarier damage dealer. Let's not forget Rogue Warriors might be winning macro wise, but in a team fight anything could happen. This 10,000 gold lead they do have is only good when it comes to mid game. Right here everyone is pretty much sitting on full item build.
The siege is well and truly under effect. Caitlyn unable to use traps to protect this turret any longer, and with the 5-man Elder Dragon buff still burning away, it's going to be a second inhibitor of the side of Vici Gaming that falls as Mouse and his crew run back around. They're going to be able to push down the mid lane next.
This is the product of a great Elder Dragon usage. Right here, they do get past the through those traps with the block of sand. So basically, while he blocks all those headsets, they do get some really good tower damage with that Elder Drake, and there's absolutely no turtling power after those traps are gone.
Baron is up in 10 seconds. Will we see a second Baron in this 41-minute game? There's certainly more kills to be had on the table, Bliss.
I'm expecting to see a really good subjugate onto the Cho'Gath, so Caveman can sustain through that fight. If he goes down as fast as previously, it's not going to end up well for Vici Gaming. And right here, they are losing by a ton, but I still consider them to be in the game and still very capable of winning this.
It's incredible how quick that 11,000 gold lead is built up. Really happy to hear you talking about the subjugate that came out of Caveman there, because I was watching Mouse's health bar kind of dropping lower and lower, and I couldn't understand it. And that has just explained the whole thing as we see Swift
There
looking
he
for
is.
the key targets. He lands onto Dorian B. Here comes the call to the forward guard, getting a knocker onto SMLZ, but SMLZ
Swift.
raining damage down, and Swift is going to be the first to drop. Decent shockwave comes in, and now here's the rest of the damage train. SMLZ is ripping apart the hopes and dreams and team members of Vici Gaming. This is going to be the teleport to the base from Mouse. This is going to be the game going over to Rogue Warriors, who will lead 1-0 in this series.
Let SMLZ deal 3 damage in the fight with 6 items on him, and this is what happens. They pay it with the first game. Rogue Warriors end this game in the most entertaining way with a clean, methodical, and absolutely excellent win against Vici.
Brilliant stuff, and at the end of the day, it was, so simply put, too much damage coming out of that Varus in the late game. Wonderful team fight from Rogue Warriors as they look to continue their winning streak. It's going to be on Vici Gaming to try and bite back in the next game.
They know they're a better team. They know they possess the knowledge of the macro game in a much more complete way than the team of Vici, and they play exactly around those strengths. Rogue Warriors lead this best of 3 by 1 against the Vici Gaming, and they're looking to close out the best of 3 with a 2-0, which of course could happen very easily.
We will be back very shortly to find out if the side of Vici can adapt in the next Champ Select to pick up the win, or will Stake once more lead his team to victory.